This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas. The information contained in this podcast is intended for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for individual professional legal advice. The podcast information was carefully compiled from vetted sources and references. However, Rose Resources outreach to safeguard the elderly cannot guarantee that you will not fall victim to a scam. Let's talk about scams. It's the must-listen show for anyone who wants to protect themselves and their loved ones from scams. Every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time on K4HD Radio, Joyce Petrowski, founder of Rose, and her guests will provide valuable insights and practical tips on how to recognize and protect yourself from scams. And now, here is your host, Joyce Petrowski.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Let's Talk About Scams. I am Brian Watson. I am a community outreach specialist for Rose. I have been filling in for Joyce, and I've really enjoyed it. Joyce will be back in 2 weeks. That's the plan. So she's given me the microphone and letting me tell some fraud prevention tips with everybody out there. So thanks for tuning in today. Today's message is phishing and smishing continue to be a problem. So we're kind of getting back to the basics here today. Phishing and smishing are the two scams that we see on a daily basis. If you have a computer and you have email and you have a cell phone, you are being bombarded daily by phishing and smishing. So we're going to talk about both of them today, both the two scams. And I'm going to show some examples as well. Because we've talked about a lot of really complex stuff, things like cryptocurrency and pig butchering and account takeovers and malware and all these like big words. But today we're going to get back to the basics. Phishing and smishing have been around for a long time. So remember, phishing is via email, and think of it as a phony email. The phishing emails try to trick you into thinking you are dealing with a company that you know, like a large company, a store, or a service, or a government agency. So I want to tell you a story about a scam that recently happened to a friend of mine. He received an email purporting to be from Xfinity, and it sounded very legitimate. It looked legitimate. It had the Xfinity logo, and it said your payment was rejected. And a lot of people use a credit card or a bank account to make that automatic payment every month, which is what we recommend. We're not fans around here of writing checks unless you absolutely have to. And it said, click on this button to update your payment information. So Juan, if we could pull that first slide number 1 up, please. This is an example of the actual, this is the actual email. See how the Xfinity logo looks good? And it says action required, update your payment information. Your payment was rejected. And if you want to keep service, update payment information. Seems pretty legitimate, right? No, no, no. This is a phishing email. That purple button right in the middle is something you never want to click on. And my friend clicked on that button and it asked him to start putting in credit card information, which he did. And when I found out about it, I said, you need a new credit card because your credit card just got compromised. This is a classic phishing email. I received the same one a couple days later. One of the things you can do, I'm not going to do right here, but if you see what I've done with my mouse, I don't know if it's showing, but if I were to hover my mouse over that button, not click on it, but hover only, it'll show the actual website it's going to. It's not Xfinity. So this is a classic phishing email. So why does this scam work? Well, it works because most people are responsible adults pay their bills in a timely manner and quickly. So my friend pays his bills every month on time, trust me. And he was busy doing stuff. He saw this. He wanted to just take care of his obligations. He clicked on it. So you could see how anybody could fall for this. So I'm showing you this not to embarrass my friend, but to it's a lesson for all of us. So what happens? So if you click on a link like this, my friend was asked to fill in credit card information, but they could also ask for things like your social security number, your date of birth, passwords, usernames, other financial information. And these sophisticated criminals could also install malware, which is malicious software or spyware on your computer without knowledge. And they could use that to commit identity theft. They could use that to get all of your passwords, all your bank account information. So it's very you got to be very careful. And here's the other thing. I'm holding up my phone here. If you get an email like this from Xfinity or Amazon or something similar, don't use this. This is far too small. The screen is too small. You can't see what's going on. Only do this stuff from your home computer where you have a big screen. Um, so we basically come to the point where you have to assume every email you receive is a scam. I don't like living in a world like that, but that's the world we live in. I mean, I can get on the computer right now and have something delivered this afternoon or tomorrow at the latest. Anything I want, pretty much. But the downside is the criminals can use that information as well. All right. So here's some common sense tips on phishing. Um, Resist the urge to act quickly. See this email in front of us? It's got a little exclamation point and they're threatening to shut you off within 24 hours. You never have to rush. Um, Read the email carefully, look for typos, look for incorrect grammar. Scammers want to use urgency. That's how they get you to make a bad decision. My friend made a quick rash decision and it caused an inconvenience. Go for a break, take a break, go for a walk, look at the email the next day, ask someone else. And I'll mention again, just don't use your cell phone. The screen's too small. Look carefully at the email address. And that's why you need to use a big computer because you can't do this on your cell phone. Look at the email where it came from. And I'm going to show you an example next. So Juan, can we go to slide 2? This is an Xfinity email that I also received. It was similar. And I only highlighted or only copied a small portion of it. It says from Xfinity, but look at the email I copied. Customer service at wosanitation.com. That's not coming from Xfinity. That is a complete scam. And then look at even the title of this email, the subject line: deadline looming, your financial commitment is due. Does that sound like Xfinity would write that? No, that's probably written by someone living in a foreign country, English second language. And there's some weird font issues there too. The eyes are too big. There's some goofy stuff going on, but classic phishing email. Um, and anytime you have these phishing emails, don't click on the links. That's what gets you in trouble. We never click on links. Okay. So what is the safest option if you're not sure? Just delete it. Okay. Um, what's the worst thing that could happen? Your email, I mean, your um, cable could be shut off. But and that's not going to happen because the whole thing's a scam. So what you want to do if you're not sure and you want to sleep at night and you're worried your cables can be shut off, contact Xfinity or whatever company directly. And you never use the number that the scammers provide because you're going to end up talking to a scammer sitting in a call center somewhere. You go on the internet and find Xfinity's legitimate site on your own, xfinity.com or whatever it is. contact customer service and see if there's an issue with your account. You can also log into your account using your username and password. And again, never use a link provided by a phishing email, and you can log in and see what's going on. And for example, we always talk about verified numbers. Let's say you got an email and it claimed to be from your bank. So I bank at Wells Fargo, and if I got an email saying there was something wrong with my account, um, update my information. Nope, I delete it. What I do, I flip over my ATM card here. I call the customer service number right on the back. That's a legitimate number. We always call from verified numbers. And then I know Joyce and I beat this like a dead horse, but you got to have a phone a friend. Who is your phone a friend? Everyone's sitting here right now listening, watching our radio show this morning. Who is your phone a friend? Is it a family member? Is it a friend? Is it a neighbor? When you get a phishing email and you're not sure, who would you talk to? Sometimes phone a friend might be the local police department. You know what? They would rather help you out and prevent you from getting scammed than try to track down money later on. And you also have someone who's very tech savvy. Hopefully your phone a friend is tech savvy, but sometimes they're like two different people. When I was doing fraud prevention presentations 20 years ago, phishing was in its infancy, and but a lot of the phishing emails were really, really bad. They were almost like a joke. It was almost comical how bad they are. But with artificial intelligence and with criminals being more organized and sharing information, these phishing emails look more and more legitimate. The problem of phishing is only going to get worse before it gets better. I want to show you another phishing email, number 3, please, one. This one purports to be from Norton LifeLock. And the scammers basically just copied the image from Norton LifeLock and put it on there. Dear customer, your subscription is set to renew today, and it's going to charge you over $500. So this is a classic phishing email. They want you to panic and say, I didn't order a 5-year Norton LifeLock renewal. That's ridiculous. I need to cancel it right away. And the scammers are so nice, they provide a phone number for you. Well, what happens when you call that phone number? You're calling a scammer, okay? What we do is we delete this email and you contact Norton LifeLock, or contact Norton LifeLock and make sure it's to reassure yourself that it was a phishing email. We never call the number. I was over at my mom's house helping her with her email the other day. I went into her email account and she had about 10 emails just like this from all different companies. The scammers are sending these things out in the thousands, if not millions. And then I have one more phishing email I want to show you. Slide 4, please, one. So this is a phishing email that purports to be from Social Security Administration. And look at this. It's real nice. Your Social Security statement is streamlined and easier to read than ever before. We encourage you to view your statement once a year. Sounds legitimate. The government is here to serve you and help you out. Unfortunately, this is a phishing email. Don't click on that blue link at the bottom. You're falling right into the trap of a scammer. What we do is we delete this, go directly to ssa.gov, and either log in or talk to someone. This is a complete scam. And just think about this. The scammers send thousands of these emails, millions of these emails, and they only need to get lucky 1% of the time or 0.1% of the time, and they're going to make money. And then one other clue here. Look where it's from. Social Security statement, and the email is no reply at greekcopro.com. That is not Social Security Administration. All right. So next, we are going to be talking about texting. There is a new text now where criminals claim you owe money for unpaid road tolls. and they're pretending to be state agencies, and they send text messages demanding money, and they don't ask for a lot of money. It's usually a small amount of money. So these text messages are a form of what we call smishing, a social engineering attack using fake text messages to trick people into sending money to cyber criminals, trick you into sharing personal information or downloading malware. So why do we call it smishing? So a text message is an SMS, a short message service. That's the technical word for it. So instead of calling SMS, we call it smishing, and it rhymes with phishing. So smishing is fake text messages. So next slide, Juan, please. This is an example of a text, a smishing text that claims to be from the Arizona Department of Transportation. Little side note, in Arizona, we don't have any toll roads. So that's the number one clue. But look at this. This is a classic smishing email. You have an outstanding toll. If you don't pay it by the end of March, you will be penalized, subject to legal action. And look, they even send you a little hyperlink to pay. It looks very legitimate, doesn't it? But do not click on that hyperlink. Um, and it's just what we've learned is, this text works because law-abiding citizens respond to financial inquiries and they always pay their bills. Like positive members of society. You get a bill, you pay it. We're not deadbeats. So resist the urge to pay it quickly. Um, Procrastinators don't get scammed and stuff like this. The people that get scammed are the people that just do things quickly because they want to just get stuff done. Resist that urge. If you receive one for another state, delete the text message, contact the state directly, or better yet, just ignore it because this is a scam. And again, like phishing emails, in texts, the smishing texts, we never click on links. Okay. And, I talked about phishing, not using the phone. The problem with text messages is you have to use your phone. So just don't click on links, delete, delete, delete. Um, this scam is believable because a lot of Arizona residents have another house in another state or they travel. We're a very mobile population here in Arizona. Um, so I recently read a news story, and on this scam, there's an estimated 60,000 domains connected, associated with these toll scams. So that means there's 60,000 domains sending these things out. So if you haven't received one, you will. And here's the thing too, it's going to change. 2 months from now, there'll be something very similar in trying to trick you into sending information. So the key is to be very, very skeptical of any text message you receive. All right, I have one last slide today that Juan's going to bring up. It's our sixth and final one. And this one looks real simple. Text message, Dad, text me ASAP. It's urgent. I broke my phone, and there's a phone number to call. This is basically a variation of the grandparent scam, but in this case, it's just targeting the parents. So let's say, I have a son who's got a phone, and let's say he broke his phone. It crashed. He dropped it in the water. Something bad happened, and he basically was just borrowing someone's phone to get in touch with me. Um, you just got to ignore this. This is a complete scam. Okay. Um, if the kid really needed to get a hold of you, your son or daughter, they would call. But if you see something like this, you just resist the urge because I know how hard it is. Everyone in the world wants to protect their family members. Do not click on this. If you click on that link there, and text back, they're going to start a whole series, a whole scam that they've used on other people that's worked. There's all kinds of things they could do. We won't get into it today. But so just remember some closing stuff about text messages. If you receive an email text message, or phone call, you have to ask yourself, could this be a scam? Are they targeting me? Only respond if you're 100% sure that it's legitimate. Never hurts to get a second opinion. Ask a family member or friend. Just get a second opinion. Because remember, time is our friend when it comes to scam prevention. Scammers want us to make a rush decision. In the toll scam that we talked about, I've seen versions of it where they threaten people with a large fee if they don't pay on time. And a lot of victims will just pay the small amount just to make the problem go away. But here's the deal, the problem doesn't go away. Now they have your credit card information and they can charge you a whole bunch of money. Remember to please go to roseadvocacy.org and sign up for our free monthly email. There's our email address right there. Have your friends and family sign up. We want to get lots of people signed up. It doesn't cost us any more money to send out more of our monthly email than it does if we send one or if we send 10,000. So please, please, please sign up. And also go to Facebook. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on LinkedIn. Next week, August 12th, will be my last guest hosting for a while, and I'm bringing in a special guest. I'm actually bringing in a retired FBI agent named Martin Helmer. He just joined the advisory committee for Rose, and we're going to have a little chat about scams, especially with technology, things like cryptocurrency, pig butchering, romance scams, anything and everything. And I want to get his perspective of someone who's worked 23 years in law enforcement. And we're going to talk about reporting crimes, reporting losses, why it's important, and things like that. So see you all next week, next Tuesday morning. And thank you for watching Let's Talk About Scams.
Well, that's all the knowledge for this episode. Tune in every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time on K4HD Radio at k4hd.com as Joyce explores a variety of knowledge so you have the power to make scam protection your healthy habit. And until then, feel free to reach out to Joyce and let's talk about scams.